Hey folks, my name is Dale Davidson. They call me the Dear VA Guy, and thank you for watching today. Hey, got a treat for you today. We're going to talk about some different federal and state VA benefits that are available to you as a veteran. So if you're a veteran who was honorably discharged and who has at least a 10% VA service-connected disability, 10% should be very easy. That's usually tinnitus, okay? Listen carefully because there are some benefits available to you. Now, most of the federal VA benefits apply to those veterans who are rated at 100% disabled, but there are some state VA benefits available with only a 10% disability rating. Now, each state is different, and I'm going to be talking about Georgia, but if you are in a different state, I would suggest that you contact your local VSO office and find out what those particular benefits are. So, number one, VA disability comp. Everybody, that's what this channel is about, VA disability comp, okay? Now, this is tax-free money, okay, that you receive each month because of a service-connected injury. At 100% disabled, your maximum benefit is approximately $3,600 per month. And again, it's income tax-free. Now, for more information on that, look at this video called 3 Things You Need for VA Disability Benefits to help you out, okay? Now, we're talking about VA healthcare and medications. They are usually free, okay? Now, if you are 100% service-connected disability, you most likely already know about the VA healthcare. If you don't, if you're not currently enrolled in VA healthcare, proceed directly to the VA and sign up. So just remember, how much does free cost? It's free, okay? Take advantage of it. So, number 3, travel allowance. This is where the VA reimburses you for mileage and other travel expenses for scheduled medical appointments at a VA facility or medical facility in which the VA referred you for care, okay? Now, I also made a video on this. See the VA travel reimbursement explained video for more information, okay? Because there's some timelines as far as when you have to submit information for your reimbursement. Number 4, dental care. Now, you can receive dental care through the VA, and if there isn't a facility in your town, you can get these services through Care in the Community program. So again, check with your local Veterans Service Office, the VSO. Okay. Number 5, VA home loan funding fee waivers. Now, when using a VA home loan, there's usually some kind of funding fee that can range anywhere from 1% to 4%. Now, as an example, if you have a $100,000 mortgage, that fee is going to be $4,000. But under this waiver program, you don't pay that because you're 100% disabled. This is a huge benefit. You know, if you're rated 100%, you don't have to pay this funding fee. You save $4,000. Who doesn't want to save $4,000? Okay. And by the way, under certain circumstances, this VA home loan, not necessarily the funding fee, but the VA home loan is available to your surviving spouse. Okay. Now, do you want a job? The VA offers employment assistance if you are rated at 100%, and you qualify for a 10-point preference when applying for federal jobs. So for instance, if you're going to apply to the post office or the civil service, you get 10 points added to your resume because you were 100% disabled, okay? Now, what's really good about this is that you're eligible for a direct hire, which could leave your competition in the dust. So if you're up against somebody who's not a veteran, or who's maybe a veteran but who is not 100% disabled, the post office or the civil service can do a direct hire with you, no problems, okay? Now, number 7, and I call this the vocational rehab, okay? The new name that they refer to is the Veterans Readiness and Employment Program. Why do they have to name things so? Anyway, so unlike the GI Bill, this program is specifically tailored to your individual needs. So be careful though, because as of April 1st of 2021, the VA no longer counts the use of veterans readiness employment benefits against the 48-month limit to the GI Bill, okay? Now, this is a one-way street here, because if you're using the GI Bill, the benefits, those GI Bill benefits count against the 48-month limit for vocational rehab benefits, okay? Makes no sense, I know, but be careful. Number 8. There's additional disability compensation for your eligible dependents, okay? The VA recognizes the fact that you may need additional compensation or additional assistance when providing for your family. So you may be able to add your children, your spouse, or even your parents onto your VA disability. Now, depending upon the number of qualified dependents you have, depends on whether or not they can be added, okay? So again, check with your local VSO office for that one. Number 9, can you double dip? Meaning, can you receive both your military retirement and your disability pay? Well, if you're rated at 100% disabled, you can, okay? You get your full military retirement and your full disability compensation. That's one of the only scenarios really where you can get where you can double dip. Number 10. Do you have a dependent in college? The VA can help you and your dependents with educational assistance programs. Just tell your kids to get up off their rear ends and contact the VA for assistance. Tell them don't forget to ask the VA about any scholarships, okay? Now, here's a big one. Number 11. If your dependents qualify, the VA has a civilian health medical program. They call it CHAMP VA. Okay, CHAMP VA benefits covers just a percentage of the cost of medically necessary and appropriate services. Okay, so CHAMP VA, it's just like health insurance. Some of these things are going to be covered, some of them are not. Even though your doctor says you've got to have this service, CHAMP VA may deny payment. Just like a private insurer, they might deny payment for a covered service even if your physician says you've got to have that. Okay, number 12, the VA burial and plot allowance. So my suggestion here is check with your local funeral director or veteran service office, because the VA can help you with the cost of planning or procuring a plot and with covering up to $2,000 of burial expenses. Okay, again, just check with your VSO. Now, number 13, if you're 100% disabled, you can get a Uniform Services ID card. It's just like your military ID, which will grant you access to privileges at DoD facilities. For instance, you get to go to the commissary. Okay. Number 14, and the last of the federal benefits, and I'm going to jump into some state benefits. So they have the VA Adaptive Housing and Automobile Grant. So under this program, if you're qualified, you may be able to get a grant, means you don't have to pay it back, to make additions to your home, such as a wheelchair ramp. You need to widen doorways, make your bathroom more accessible. All of those things you can get a grant for. Okay. Having trouble getting your wheelchair in and out of your van, you can get that special lift under this program also. So that's the end of the federal. Let's jump into some state. And again, state benefits depend upon, again, the state specifically. So if you're not here in Georgia, then please check with your local VA Veteran Service Office for that. So, all right, Georgia Veterans Homes. Now, in Georgia, we have 2 veterans homes, one in Augusta, Georgia, where the Masters is, okay, and one in Milledgeville, okay. Now, admission is open to honorably discharged Georgia veterans who served during a wartime, okay. There's a nominal fee charged, okay, and you can apply for an attendance benefit to help offset this fee. You got to have at least a 70% disability rating or higher, and it's got to be, of course, service connected. So if you have any questions regarding that, again, check with your local VSO office or check with those homes in Augusta and Milledgeville. Number 2, state benefit. and that's Georgia Veterans Financial Benefits. Now, we have an exemption from homestead tax. So for 100% disabled veterans and those getting VA disability for loss of vision or limb, the surviving spouse who's not remarried may be exempt from property tax on their homes. But the maximum exemption changes every year, and right now the maximum is set about $93,000. Georgia has a vehicle tax exemption where we don't pay ad valorem tax on vehicles for permanent and totally disabled veterans or those getting VA disability for loss of vision or limbs. Now, this is really kind of a non-issue nowadays because most people, when you buy a vehicle, you go ahead and pay the sales tax up front, so you're not subject to the ad valorem tax each and every year. So, license fees and special taxes. Okay, again, Georgia veterans are eligible for a certificate granting exemption from occupational tax. You want to open up a business, you don't have to pay an occupational tax or any kind of fee imposed by any kind of local government for conducting a business, okay? You also are entitled to a free driver's license, number 5. If you got to be honorably discharged, Georgia veterans, again, free driver's license. Now, we get a lot of questions about, well, I was in the National Guard. Does this apply to National Guards? Yes. So if you're a member or former member of the National Guard and you have at least 20 years or more of credible service, you can qualify also. Your spouse of a qualified veteran whose disabilities don't allow them to operate a motor vehicle, they're eligible for a free driver's license also. Okay, so again, you got to be a resident though. Georgia Veterans Employment Benefits. This is like number 6 on the federal Veterans Employment Preference. Now, in Georgia, a 5-point credit versus a 10-point credit. A 5-point credit is given to war veterans seeking state employment. A 10-point credit, again, is given to those with a VA service-connected disability of 10% or more. Now, number 7, business licenses. Again, licenses just like number 4, licenses, fees, and special taxes. If you are a veteran, honorably discharged, with at least a 25% disability, 10% if wartime, you're exempt from payment of occupational taxes and other fees. If you receive military firefighting training, that is accepted as required basic training for full-time or part-time and volunteer firefighters, including airport firefighters here in Georgia. Now, one of the big things here, because Georgia is a big recreational state, we have a recreational benefit. Permanently and totally disabled veterans are eligible for a discounted sportsman's license, okay? And you get some discounts for state park admissions and things of that nature. And their last benefit, number 10 for the state. Any veteran of the family may be buried in one of the 2 Georgia State Veteran Memorial Cemeteries. There's one in Milledgeville or there's one in Glenville, Georgia. And again, there are eligibility requirements are the same as for burial in a VA cemetery and require something other than a dishonorable discharge. But for more information on that, I would check with your local funeral director. Hey folks, thank you for watching today. Hey, look, earlier I mentioned that VA travel reimbursement video explained. Here's a link to it. Go there and check it out. For instance, can you get reimbursed if you're traveling with your buddy? I explain all of that. What are the timelines as far as being able to get reimbursed, and what do you have to actually submit to the VA? So until next time, be blessed.